Het-Heru, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Kasakma Keperu with another video for you. And in this video, I want to talk about like two secret yet simple techniques to manifesting reality or your reality. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button in this video. And if it's your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I'll be uploading and go live. And also become a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1 or $5 per month, and you get access to exclusive content. Also, don't forget that we have, or I have some free ebooks that you can download right away. Links are in the description box. You can download them and read them, and they get into the esoteric and the other good stuff. It can teach you how to be a really strong magician and create your reality. And while I'm on that subject of creating your reality, let's talk about that now, because what I often like to do is I like to find I'm good on streamlining process. I don't like to get involved with something it having to be long and drawn out, such as if you ever read about Aleister Crowley, he was into ceremonial magic with the Golden Dawn and things like that. And it was so involved. And I'm like thinking, wow, magic doesn't have to be this way. And also, too, there were several magicians, when they want to publish their works, they typically put on or add into it elaborate rituals. And that's done to dissuade those who are not dedicated. So there's probably a simpler way of performing the ritual. You don't have to go through the whole elaborate scheme. But again, they do that so that only the most dedicated will perform the rites. And sometimes they have you go out and collect rare herbs and build certain shrines to exact specifications, you know. But you really, you know, for manifesting your reality, I don't want to use the word create, because you know you can't create anything, because the universe, Neter, or as we call him, her, Nebechur, meaning Lord of all, created everything in abundance. So you can't add to it and you can't subtract from it. All right. So you really can't create anything. You can only vibrate to the frequency of where that thing is, so you can interact with it. All right. But as I was saying before, I want to always in just my magical dealings, just really streamline the process, get down to something that's going to be really short and sweet, but very, very effective. And actually, that's a Sebek trait. Sebek likes to do the least amount of work and get the most amount of pay. So that's his trait. And that's something that we need to be aware of, and we need to try to do. Because we're living in a world where it keeps us busy, it keeps us stressed out, and we don't have time, as our ancestors did, to put together the elaborate rituals and go through everything. You know, like you have to do it on a certain day, you have to do it at a certain location, geo-targeting. You have to do it at a certain hour. You have to do it with certain people. You have to do it prior to fasting for 7 days. So, and then you have to make sure that these stars are aligned. So you don't want to have to go through all of that. So let's really get to nuts and bolts of some really simple manifestation techniques that really are effective and they work. All right. All right. Sorry, my throat is dry. And the first thing I want to do is I want to refer everybody to a really great book. And I've talked about this before, but it's called Super Accelerated Living. So I'm going to be referencing this book. And also the Nuke Nectar. Okay, so this is Kemetic spirituality. So if any of you wonder where I'm reading from, there you go. There are the books. All right. So let's look at it this way. The first technique, and the winner is the first technique. That's a simple technique to manifest your reality. Is Well, let me take a step back before I get into the secret, and let me tell you this. You are always manifesting your reality. You can't stop that. Even when you die, you're going to manifest a reality, okay? The reality of death and the duat, the afterworld, the underworld, okay? So please be aware of that. you have a core vibrational frequency that you're emanating right now. That emanation of that vibrational frequency is creating your destiny reality. So everything, planes, trains, automobiles, are what you are constantly manifesting in your reality. Okay. Someone asked me before, they were like, well, is the moon real? Is it a creation of aliens? Or is it a real satellite? And I said to them, which one do you believe it to be? You know, because you have to understand reality is going to correspond to your most dominant belief system. So there are those of us, if we believe that the moon is a manufactured alien, hollowed out planetoid or satellite, whatever, we're going to shift to that reality, where the others are going to shift to a reality where it is a natural satellite. You understand? So whatever it is that's in your dominant, most heartfelt belief is where you'll shift to and be able to interact with. So as I used the case in point before, that there are some of us who have shifted to a parallel reality where Hillary Clinton is president. Those of us who are in this reality where Trump is president, that's for a reason, okay? So this is why we have to look at things from the perspective of taking accountability, that we are inadvertently or purposely, depending on how you want to look at it, creating a reality. We may not be conscious of the fact that we willed or decided upon this reality, but we did, okay? And we're here to deal with it, so deal with it, you know? Now, the first simple way that I stumbled across that to create your reality is very simple, which is called in NLP and in reality transurfing by Vadim Zeland, is the slide effect. So the slide effect is simple. Visualize the ideal situation that you want, whether it be money, having a nice car, a good mate, or a nice pet, depends on what you want. And visualize that image and make sure that it is, as Bashar says, you know Bashar, you know what I'm talking about, your highest excitement, meaning that when you refer back to that visualization, that frame, that slide, that it is your highest excitement, meaning it makes you excited. It really gets a Ra or the Kundalini energy, or the, which is really translated and equal to the sexual arousal within you, because that energy of creation is the same energy of the sex energy. It's the same thing. So this is why the act of creation, giving birth to the universe, is a female principle. So that is what you want. Now, how is that going to manifest? Depending on how long you can hold that image. Okay, the longer you can hold that image, the more you're communicating to nonlinear time space, is to bring that from the ether into the realm of the 4D. The trick is most people abandon it. They don't want to hold that image long enough for it to materialize in layers. Because what is going to happen if you focus on the image and you have the excitement behind the image, eventually you're going to see synchronicities that align, which is telling you that what you want is coming towards you. I call this the pinging effect. The reality is pinging you back and saying, you are shifting closer and closer to the reality that you want. Okay, and that's a very good sign. So it's all about that one slide, which is why we had the Egyptians. They had the hieroglyphics, which really means the Metu Neter, and the Metu Neter, always you'll see them in action poses. So your slide or your frame, see yourself in a type of action pose, but you have to embody it as though it's the here and the now. So don't think of it as the future. Don't think of it as the past right now. But think of it as the present moment, the now, as to you have already achieved this and embellish in the emotion of what it feels like to have that particular thing. Now, obviously, you can't do this 24/7, which would be ideal because it will come quicker to you. But the longer you can focus on that, the better. And sometimes, you know, if I want something, I'll get up in the morning, I'll focus on that slide. And at the midday, I'll focus on that slide. And before I go to sleep, I'll focus on that slide. And then you'll slowly see it come to fruition. But that is the thing. But it's most important. It's the two things is that number one, it is your highest excitement. Don't pick something that you want, that you're not really excited about, then wonder why it doesn't manifest. Duh. Okay? Like, for example, just for example, if I wanted, let's say for like Halle Berry, but above Halle Berry, I wanted Charlize Theron, even though she's psycho. I'm just using it as an example. If I pick Halle Berry, that's not my highest excitement. So more than likely, if I'm focusing on her, she won't manifest in my bedroom. But if I'm focusing on Charlize Theron, I even hate to use that example because I don't like some of the things that she's doing. But anyway, if I focus on Charlize Theron, if she's my highest excitement, then that will happen. So for those of you who want to focus on Brad Pitt or Idris Elba, let's switch that. Idris Elba, Brad Pitt. If you focus on Brad Pitt, you'll never get you'll never get Brad Pitt because Idris Elba is your highest excitement. Make sense? You got me? You feel me, family? So let me say hi to the Magi's who've come into the chat room. Carnetta, Flag, Het-Heru, Blake, Marks. What's up? Glass, Het-Heru, Mike, Rizzy. Namaste. Chapter 13. I didn't read chapter 12, sorry. Het-Heru. I love the yin and yang symbol there. So getting back to what I was saying, that is the number one, the number uno way to manifest your reality. Now, how quickly when it comes depends on your belief system, and we'll get into that, your BS, your belief system, because your belief system can determine and can put parameters around how quickly it will manifest in your life. You're not subject to space-time limitation. Let me say this, Einstein. Let's talk about this. E equals mc squared. You are not limited by space-time. Space-time is what? They're inseparable. We live in 4D, 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. But you cannot extrapolate and take time away from space because they are intrinsically one and connected. In the 3D realm, which is just merely a theoretical philosophy, it doesn't actually mean that the 3D realm exists. You have the 3 dimensions of space. But what I use in 3D is an analogy for saying to you, getting trapped in the ego, the Ka, or the persona, or the id, ego, and the superego, as Freud would say, right? But getting trapped in the ego and materialism. Okay, but let's go back to space-time again, inseparable. So let's move on, shall we? Because who you are is consciousness and you beyond space-time. Okay, you do not exist in any one fixed point in space and time. Make sense? You are everywhere. You are not subject to limitation. So therefore, if you impose a limitation upon a manifestation goal or objective, then the universe has no choice but to grant you your wish. If you believe that your manifestation will take you a week, then it's going to take a week. If you believe you can do it in 48 hours, if you wholeheartedly believe you can do it in 48 hours, chances are you may do it, but there are limitations placed upon that, which are destiny reading. You have to get a destiny reading to say that this is within your destiny to achieve this. See? There's a prerequisite. All right, let's get into super accelerated living, because I want to talk about the second way of manifesting, the second secret to manifesting. All right, but I want to read something that the author talks about that I think is really pertinent to what we're discussing here. And he says, I'm going to read this. Bear with me. Be aware of your vibration and choose yours. I talked about us vibrating at a core frequency. Core frequency, right? What determines your vibration? Your emotional state. How do you feel at the present moment? Which is why you should always be pursuing your highest excitement. You should always be positive in your outlook on things based upon your slide or your frame. This is perhaps the most important principle, the foundation point. Many people do not realize that they're sending out signals all of the time. Right now, you're emitting a certain vibration based on how you're defining something and how you feel about it. And I bet you aren't aware of it. Right now, what you are sending out in creation into your reality, you are a vibrational being. You are a state of consciousness. So what is your state of consciousness like? What is it emitting, radiating? What is it saying to the universe? Because we speak to the universe. We speak to Neter Nebuchadnezzar through our emotions. Please realize that what you're sending out is generating your reality right now, actively. You cannot escape it, this principle, often referred to as the law of attraction or reality transurfing. Reality transurfing. You cannot escape the principle that 24/7 you are attracting some configuration of reality into your experience. You can't stop this mechanism. You could only stop this mechanism if you stopped existing, and I have never found anyone who could stop existing even upon death. Existence is permanent. It is beyond time. So it has to be permanent. What we call permanent from the time-bound point of view is simply timelessness from its own point of view. You are beyond time and space. You are timeless. You have no beginning. You have no end. You are self-created. I brought myself into being in the form of Kesank Ma'a Keperu. Since you exist, you are vibrating all the time. All the time you're resonating and radiating. So what are you resonating? What are you vibrating? What's your energy frequency right now? Is it positive? What's your slide? Okay, that's a good question. When you meet another magi, you go, hey, Mike, what's your slide? Hey, Blake, what's your slide? Answer, quick, quick, quick. Het-Heru, Aset Ma'at. What's your slide? Aset, what's your slide? Quick, answer the question. All right, your magi is too slow. You're too slow. For a prize, someone tell me what the slide is real quick. Ah, peace, love, and light. Aset, all right, love it. Love it. Okay, good, good. That's great. That's great. Right now, you are seeing the reflections you attracted into your life by overlooking your vibration in the first place, by not paying attention. Unfortunately, it makes no sense to respond to what you see or even to focus on what you see. Don't go by what you see because it's a delayed reaction. The reality that you see is a delayed reaction. What you want is coming to you, so focus on that, okay? Oh, Mike says a house. All right, man, I hear that. Now, I want to go on to a second technique for manifesting your reality. That's actually a really, really good technique. It's like a hack. And it's one that I never thought of. I kind of knew about it from NLP, because I think that's where the author gets it from. But I never really actively used it in manifestation. I've used it in meditation to help somebody rewrite their history, their past, and help them get over traumatic experiences in their past. But this book is making a really good point, saying that you can actually use this as a manifestation technique. And it's a common technique that a lot of hypnotherapists will use to change a person's past. And consequently, if you change their past, you change the now moment and the future. If you believe in such a thing as the future, because there is no future, there's only different perspectives on the now moment, because the now moment is the only thing that really exists. Okay? Empress Het-Heru. Placing your desired future in your past. Ooh. Hey, you guys ever see those 3D glasses? I love 3D. I made a 3D film in college, and the professors didn't like it. Well, they didn't like the fact that I made it and didn't tell them I was going to make it. But 3D, they would always do like this. Ooh, ooh, 3D, ooh. Okay? Placing your desired future in your past. Oh, look, copper straw. You guys should be drinking from copper. It has so many health benefits. Okay, so get you a copper straw or a copper mug or something to drink your water. Your water, your new or Nun, N-U-N, primordial waters of Nun. And if you don't know who Nun is, shame on you. Go do your research into the Kemetic Het-Heru, or Company of the Gods. One fun technique that is actually quite powerful is to place something you desire to happen in the future into your past. So imagine something that resonates for you, something you desire. Normally, we would create a distance between now and desired future, which then creates the sense of lack. Yep. Which then creates the feeling of lack. The feeling of lack then generates the lack of that reality, because what you are putting out is not, I have this or I am this, but I don't have this and I'm not this. Do you get what he's saying here? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Isis, thank you for the donation. Aset, thank you for the donation. Wow. So you guys get what he's saying here. He's talking about that many of us embody the feeling of lack. And sometimes when you want to focus on you don't want to not focus on something. What is it? You know you're supposed to be focusing on something, but you keep focusing on the opposite. So as I'm focusing, for example, I like panda bears. I want a panda bear. I wrote to China. I said, get me a panda bear. They said, Kasant, these things are endangered. We can't send you a panda bear. I said, I don't care if they're endangered. I just want one. Give me a baby panda bear. Sneak it out. Mail it to me. FedEx. I don't care. Just send me a babe, but make sure it knows Kung Fu. And then they didn't return my correspondences. So I don't know why. Anyway. So Anytime you're focusing on what you want, we tend to focus on the opposite, which is what we lack. We don't have the thing that we want. So we focus a lot upon that. And we kind of make our happiness conditional, meaning it's only conditioned upon us getting the thing. So my happiness, I would not be happy until I got the panda bear, that new Kung Fu. So I was sad all the time. And that communicates to the universe that you should be more sad. You see what I'm saying? Because the universe just mirrors your current state of being. Sometimes the seeing of what you desire, the imagining of it, tuning into your heart's reality, your true reality, can generate an even greater dissatisfaction because many people have learned to focus on lack. So one crucial aspect of this is to diminish how much you focus on lack. Ooh, 3D effect. Ooh, that was deep. Get it? 3D, deep? Ooh, okay. So one crucial aspect of this is diminish how much you focus on lack. Start focusing on abundance. Abundance is this big, like that big. It's really big. Can you say to a person who is fat, you have abundance? That could be a new PC language, you know. Not that you're fat or obese, but you have abundance, right? I wonder how that will go over in the Me Too movement and all this politically correct stuff, you know. All right. Start focusing on abundance regardless of how real or delusional it may seem to you. That wasn't real. What was that? Did I do something there? Okay, sorry. You must focus on the abundance of every moment. If you do, you will accelerate. You must focus on the abundance of every moment. If you do, you will accelerate. Warp speed, man. We're talking warp speed. In terms of visualization technique, you can then take whatever it is you imagine, which is your slide or your frame, imagine is not here yet, and place it in the past. Take the slide or the frame and place it in the past. Imagine what it was like when it happened 10 years ago. It felt so good when it happened 10 years ago. Completely embody that imagination. This way, you are actually accelerating the downloading of the parallel reality frequency into your present frequency output. And when your present frequency output reflects that new imagination, your reality will have to mirror that. So actually feel what it was like 10 years ago to have the revelatory, to have that revelatory moment. Was it awesome? Imagine the details, like how people responded. Place it as a real-time event in your past. You can actually change your past by placing your desired future in your past. This might change your desires quickly because you will achieve them very fast. So what he's saying is take that frame, that picture, again, as I said before, of the now moment of what you want to have or want to possess, and pretend, as Mr. Rogers would say, that it's in your past, and say to yourself, I remember when I got that panda bear. That was so awesome when China shipped him in that box and they had the holes punched so he can breathe, and he was practicing his Kung Fu in the box. That was a great moment. And now he's big and he's grown and he has Kung Fu classes. So you get my meaning. I'm being funny, but if you place it in the past, it tricks the mind into thinking you've already have it. So you're not focusing on the lack anymore. All right. And now it's going to accelerate and it will come to you quicker. Warp speed quicker, trans warp drive, light speed, wormhole, all that good stuff. You're with me, you feel me? Everybody, don't forget to hit the like button. Now, I got a bonus tip for you on manifesting your reality. It's very simple, a simple tip, right? And that tip is going to be, Isis, thank you. I thank you for your comment. Love my channel. Aset, thank you. Here is a very important thing. You take a moment to drink my vodka mixed with rum. I was out and I told somebody I don't drink, and they were freaking out. They were like, "You don't drink? Well, how do you have fun?" I'm like, "I didn't know that you had to drink to have fun." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And they said, well, why don't you drink? And I don't get into the whole thing. Well, it's a religious thing. It's also a thing where I don't like the taste. And every time I drink, some girls take advantage of me and they take me home and sleep with me. So I don't want to drink. You know, bad things have happened. So anyway, I don't think I can drink if I could, because I tasted it many moons ago. I didn't like the taste. It was so bad, you know. And but I bet I would be funny if I drank too. You know, they say people become more pleasing to be around. So maybe I'll be even funnier and cuter if I drink. Okay. They have the drunken monk, you know, drunken kung fu. So maybe they can have a drunken Kemetic priest. Maybe you think that will work? You know, I don't know. That may be too far. The ancestors may get a little bit upset at me. Kasank, the drunken Kemetic priest, you know. But I get high off of like coffee, caffeine. That messes me up. Yeah, I drink too much of that. I'll be shaking and nervous, you know. So let's get down to the third bonus technique, which is pretty deep. Ooh, deep. All right. Where are my 3D glasses? I have them around here somewhere. They're gone. Oh, wait, hold on a second. No, they're gone. All right. I saw Alita Battle Angel in 3D, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Now, one of the things that they don't mention in all of these books, they don't mention in that book. 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 I think it covers it in this book, but this book covers it too. All right, is that your persona plays a very important role in how you manifest in this 4D experience. What do I mean by that? Your self-image. You have an archetype, a self-image of yourself that you refer back to. You use it as reference experience, meaning you're always, because you have to understand that the left brain works through a paradigm. So not only does it work through a sequential process, but it has to have something to reference. So the left brain will need to reference the archetype that exists in the ether. And that archetype is you, that you have created. It is a thought virus of you. And that archetype can be someone who is very successful, or someone who is fraught with frailties and can't do anything right. Now, that's a culmination of things you brought from your past life and how you were brought up with your parents. It inevitably creates this archetype. Now, it's not necessarily the shadow self. If you are into Wicca, if you practice that, it's not the shadow self, but it is kind of like your image of yourself. All right. And if that image is a very negative image, you can try all you might to manifest and do things in your life. It won't happen. This is why when we deal with accelerated learning, oh, what's up, Hawkeye? Hawkeye is in the building, Het-Heru. This is why when I'm teaching kids and individuals accelerated learning or super learning, we have to deal and contend with the archetype, because that is going to determine whether or not there will be really good and proficient at learning, at processing information. Not the fact that they see a color on the historical characters. I don't care if you transpose the color, meaning that if you teach a curriculum that is based on African-centered curriculum where everybody's now Black, that's not going to help the students accelerate in terms of their learning. What is going to have to enable them to become geniuses or geniize is the fact that their archetype is one of a positive image, one that has no limitations. And in the Kemetic culture, the archetype that we use was Osiris, Lord of the Dead, the resurrected one. This is why we had this kind of iconography, or the Meduneta, is because these archetypes, when we reference them and we would see them in our mind's eye, we knew that we could achieve anything, because I am Osir. I brought myself into being. I manifested all the realms. I am not the person. I am not Kasakma Keperu. That is not who you are. I am Osir. I am Ptah. I am Ma'at. I am Aset. I am Isis. I am Hathor. I am Zeus. And it changes the connections that are made in your brain, because your brain works through synaptic connections, neuroplasticity. That means that you are able to adapt and change fairly quickly for survival purposes. And based on your persona, the id, the ego, the superego, and which is how you perceive yourself and reference yourself, you will either accomplish wonders or you will be a very limited human being. Notice I said human, okay, not God. So in the Egyptian Kemetic culture, what we had, the initiation process was the ascension from the start on the tree of life, which was Osset, Isis, up to the very top, which was what? Osir or Osiris. And you would have to work your way up to the top. But the foundation of what you started was with your what? Your Ka, K-A, Ka. Let's explore what the Ka is. No, it's not karate, but that was a good guess. Karate. No, it's not Kung Fu. That's a good guess too. The Ka of Ra. Ra. You know Ra, right? Ra. The Ka and the Ba. We won't get into the Ba. Let's just get into the Ka. The Ka is the dynamic image that a person has of himself or herself. The self or persona image determines what type of thoughts, expectations, and behavior we think ourselves capable of. Slow motion. Let me do that again. You guys, I'm ripping what's his name's thing. Slow motion. Let me do that again. You know who I'm talking about? The guy who makes those videos, the cat down the road. Okay. The self or persona image determines what types of thoughts, expectations, and behavior we think ourselves capable of. Damn, we dropped the mic. Damn, that's some deep stuff. That's some really deep stuff. Woo, deep. If I am convinced that I am shy, I will not conceive of my person initiating or handling certain types of human interaction. Such an image, as we all know, can be eliminated by words, counseling, like counseling, psychotherapy, spiritual work, pep talk, and so on. This is because the self or persona image is built out of words, the ideas we hold about ourselves. You must talk success and act success to be successful. Every coach knows this and employs it. Pep talks nourish a winning Ka, persona image, and can turn those who are convinced that they are losers into winners. Nations strive to give their citizens a national or tribal image of successful warriors by adapting a national Ka, a totem, a mascot, etc., of a top animal, a bear, a lion, eagle, falcon, and so on, even a panda bear. That totem is an image of the nation. And they use that, like the lion, to refer to mentally, so that they know they can achieve success. So your Ka, what is your Ka made of? Is your Ka saying, I am divine being, I am God within. I have no limitations. I thus brought everything into being. This is my reality. Is your Ka saying that? Or is your Ka saying, I am human, I am nervous, I'm full of anxiety. I can't, I won't, I can't. Is that what your Ka is saying? So therefore, you will not be able to manifest in this fourth dimensional experience, no matter how many techniques, how many books you read, it's not going to happen. You got to get your Ka together. And the way you're going to get your Ka together is through the program on the Tree of Life or through hypnotherapy, meditation. And when you're in meditation, you are seeding, you're seeding your spirit with positive affirmations. This is how it works. Okay? So keep that in mind. I gave you three ways of manifesting your reality, 3 ways I can help you to change your reality. So you should call me Hermes, thrice great. Hermes Trismegistus, or Tahuti, my father. The wisdom comes from him. So what do we say to Tahuti? We say Anetrak, Tahuti, Anetrak. That is saying that he is powerful and we're the exalted one. Okay, so I want to thank you, Magi's, for tuning in and going through this 3D experience with me. I hope this information has helped you, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me as always, kasank@gmail.com. And don't forget, you can take part in our reality manifestation program, which is going on tomorrow. You can register. It's still time to register if you want to. And don't forget, I'm accepting donations. Me and my wives, my 16 wives and 42 kids, we need as much help as we can get. I'm just kidding. So until my next broadcast, this is Kasagma Keparu, son of Mat and Tahuti. My aunt is a beautiful Het-Heru, Het-Thor. Till my next broadcast, what am I supposed to say now? Oh yeah, Amen Ra.